Good morning, sports fans. This is George with Custom Tied Flies and Guide Service. And this morning, boys and girls, we are going to be tying a bug called the Cousin It. It's used to track down Arapaima, which is a very big and nasty looking fish that they have down in South America in the Amazon. Excuse me. It's tied with a product that came out a few years ago called Squimpish hair. Excuse me. So this is what Squimpish hair looks like. It's a synthetic hair, kind of like a wig, but the good thing about it is that since it's synthetic, it doesn't draw water, so it dries real quick. Excuse me. When the fly is done, let me give that a snip. When the fly is done, it's going to look like that. It's about 6 inches long, and it's tied in a hollow style. So you don't need as much stuff on it in order for it to be effective. But one of the cool things about this style of fly is when you're stripping it, everything slicks back like this, okay? And then when you stop the strip, it begins to sink like this, straight down. It's not head heavy. It begins to sink like this, and these fibers, of course, then flare out, and excuse me, it offers a very large profile. And then, of course, when you pull it again, it goes up and slicks back again. So it's a really cool fly, the way it's designed. Really looking forward to my buddy using it, and I'm sure he'll have a good time with it. It's tied on a 6/0 Gamakatsu SC12. Excuse me. It gets 12 millimeter silver 3D sticker eyes, and the colors you're going to need. Excuse me. This color is called pumpkin. This color is called flashy orange. And this color is called dusty brown. Okay, and you're also going to need this color, which is just black and white. Excuse me. It also calls for Faux bucktail, and this is a fish skull product. So it is. You're going to use Danville Fly Master 210 denier in white. And of course, I'll put the recipe in the description part on this. So without further ado, by the way, it's a rattling fly too, so let's go ahead and we'll do the rattle part. As soon as I find my easy body, here it is. So if you haven't seen any of these jungle fly tutorials, this is also part of the CT Rattlin series. So you're going to use hairline medium rattle and hairline medium easy body. And you just tuck the rattle in the end of the easy body. You slide it down into you about 1/4 of an inch sticking out or so. And you're going to hit that with UV resin. You're going to need a pretty generous amount. Don't be afraid to paint the crap out of this thing. Of course, you're going to burn that with the light. Now you know you're getting a good cure when you start seeing smoke coming off of the resin. Don't breathe that smoke, by the way. It's bad for you. And then I trim it off. I lay the end of the easy body, again, the crease in my, the first crease in my index finger. Okay, and then I go to about 1/4 of an inch past that. And that's where I trim it. I'm going to need that in a minute. I'm going to put my easy body away. Oh, by the way, the head that you saw earlier, that is Neer hair in gray on top, and Senyo laser dub in rusty brown on the bottom. So here we go. Get tied in. Take the thread back to just past the point of the hook, then bring it back forward. Okay. This is the inner part of the tail. Get you a good little hunk, about yay big. And then you want the tail to be about 3 inches. Stick back past the bend of the back of the hook by about 3 inches. And then you want about 1/2 an inch for the tie-in. So measure your material accordingly. You don't want to let this stuff spin around. It's going to try to. In order to keep it from doing that, I kind of put like a wrap. And that keeps all the fibers burned together. And yep, that'll work. Okay, and then next is your black and white Squimpish hair. And you're going to put measure this up, very similar to how you would do craft fur or bucktail or whatever. Get you a little hunk here, about yay big. You want to pull these. You're going to have shorties that are up next to the weave of the pelt, for lack of a better term. And then you see all those long fibers there. You're going to want to kind of pull them out, try to even them up. Those two that are kind of in the way, you just pull them out because you're not going to need them. There we go. Measure that up, and you want it to be about the same length as the white part of the tail. And again, you don't want that to spin. Oh, there you go. Now roll her over. And you're going to put the bottom on. And same process, get those shorties out of there. Try to even that up best you can. Get the really long, thin one out of the way. There we go. Measure that up. That's too long. There we go. You're going to tack that down with a couple of wraps and then pull it up and split it so it goes down either side of the bend. Then you can finish securing it. So it looks like that. Run your thread forward. Then you're going to paint this with some nail polish or head cement or whatever. You can use super glue if you want, whatever you want to use. And you put that off to the side for it to cure. And when it's done curing, it'll look like that, just like it's supposed to. All right, now you're ready to start building the hollow part. Get tied back in. For those of you who are wondering why I just did that, it's for durability. If you tie a fly with one single piece of thread, all it takes is one single piece of thread to unravel the whole fly, you know, and fish are tough on flies. So if you can break the fly down into pieces, then it makes the fly more durable. So that's what I do. I break my flies down into pieces. I mean, if you're tying for yourself or if you're tying for a client or what have you, you're not just going to build one. You got all this stuff, right? You paid, you know, $50 or whatever for all the materials to make the flies. Are you just going to tie one, or are you going to tie several? So get it in your mind that, you know, hey, I'm going to tie a dozen of these or whatever, and then you build all the backs, and then you build the middles, and then you build the fronts. And that gives you a more durable fly. And, you know, of course, more durable is better, obviously. Okay, you're going to get you a clump. And again, this is a hollow style fly, so you don't need a lot, because you don't want to build bulk. You're building the appearance of bulk. Get the shorties out. Get things lined up. There we go. That's the first piece. Now you're going to need another piece about the same size. Get the shorties out. Even up the tips. Not completely even, but, you know, even-ish. I mean, it's just fly tying, and it's, you know, fun. So, fly tying comes with a lot of issues. There is, I mean, no, when you're tying these on your own, there is no such thing as uniform. You try to get uniform. You want each fly to look essentially the same, but, you know, some will end up thicker than others. That's just the way the ball bounces. Okay. Now, so with the hollow style, you're tying this in reverse. So there's your little clump there. Get your little pinch wrap. And you want to make sure you leave enough room for everything that you're going to need to put on. It might take you a couple to get the proportions right. You do want the hair to kind of spin around the hook just a little bit. Okay. Now the pumpkin. Shorties. Even up. Okay, next piece is the sparkly orange. You don't want a great big chunk of this. You have to be careful that you don't really get a real heavy orange on the bottom. Kind of just want like just enough. And like I said, it'll take you a little while to get the hang of the proportions on this and how much is enough and, you know, what looks good and so forth. Oh, missed one. Put that on there. Spread it out a little bit. Get it cinched down. Good. Okay. Now you're going to take this bottom and split it and then run it back on both sides of the hook. Hold it and then pinch it. You got to pinch it real hard because you're trying to put a crease in the hair so it stays laying back so you can put in the next, flip over the next piece. Like that. Put your little thread dam in there to hold your hair back. And then give that a shot of head cement for support. And then go for the next piece. Okay, so now we're going to go for the next piece. And it's just variations on a theme here. Get you a clump. Even those up. Get you another clump. You want to make sure that you pick a clump that's got lots of long fibers in it. You know, sometimes with synthetics, you don't get, depending on where you clip it from, you might not get a lot of long fibers. I'm checking the distance because the next step is putting the rattle in. I want to make sure I got enough room for the rattle and another piece of hair. So, all right, that's in. Now the pumpkin. Shorties. Line them up. Now I'll put a little sparkle in there. Not a lot. Just enough to accent. Okay. And now, same thing. Get the pumpkin. Split it. Down both sides. Careful that point, it's sharp. And sometimes with all this pulling and jerking on the hook, you got to reset it in the vise, because you want the shank to be kind of parallel to the floor. All right. A little reinforcement. All right. Next is your rattle. You want the rattle in. That's too long. Still a little too long. You don't want to crowd your eye. There we go. Give that a paint. You want to give that a paint on both sides. And then you want to it's another sectional. So you want to give that a minute. Set that off to the side while it dries. Okay, so you get your one that you've done before. Get it remounted. Make sure it's parallel to the floor. Tied back in. Back to your top. Now this one, instead of getting tied in hollow, it's going to get tied in streaming back. And you want it to be a little thicker because you're trying to hide the rattle. Okay, a little thicker. Damn it. Lost control of my clump. That happens. Once you notice you've lost control of your clump, just pull it back off and try again. Okay, now back to your hollow. You can give that a paint here. Let's do that. Just get a little reinforcement in there. Excuse me. Nope, that's a bad clump. Not quite. There we go. After you tie a few of these, you know, you'll get a better idea as to what's going to look good. Get your little flashy in there. Not a lot, just enough. when you split these, you got to make sure that you're splitting both the pumpkin and the sparkling orange. So you don't want your fly to be lopsided. Now that's about where your eyeballs are going to go in. Little reinforcement. Okay, now comes the fun part. So now for the head, you want gray on top and laser dub on the bottom, but you don't want it real thick. Okay, that's going to be too thick. See that? That's too thick. So take it down by about half. There we go. I'm going to pull the middles out. You don't need this crap up here. Find the middle, and then that goes snug right up again the front. Get a couple turns, spread it out a little bit. Roll it over. Get you a couple pulls of your rusty bronze laser dub. Find the middle. And then you do the same thing here. It goes right up again the front of the fur. Get you a couple turns. Spread it out a little bit. One more securing turn. That is my daughter texting me. It's okay if you catch some of these head fibers. You kind of want to a little bit. You want to catch a lot of them to get, you end up getting your head all fouled up. Mm. 5 3 whip. And then before you paint it, you're going to hit it with a Sharpie so you can black the head up. Now, excuse me, you could tie this with black thread. However, this fly has, it's representing a bait fish that kind of has a beige, whitish stripe down the inside. Just a hint. So if you tie it with black thread, you're going to miss that beige-ish strip. So I tie it with white and then I black the head. Okay, now you're going to pull these fibers out of the way. Because they're going to stream over top of the eyes. To give it a good head look. Sometimes you drop your sticker eyes. Okay, and then you're going to paint that with UV resin. All the way up to the nose. It seals the eye. You want to make sure that you get some contact with the fur. Not a lot, just some. That's my new light that I haven't started using yet. Another thing to remember when you're working with UV resin, not all resins, not all lights are compatible. They're not all the same. So you got to find out, and you can ask the manufacturer what is the best light frequency for their UV product. Like this particular UV resin that I'm using is not Solarez. I get it in bulk. So I wrote the company an email and asked them, and they said that this best cures at 600 nanometers is the wavelength. So I found a light that emits at 600 nanometers. And that way my UV resin doesn't come out tacky, which a lot of times if you're having problems with tackiness with your UV resin, it's most likely because you're using a light that is not emitting at the proper wavelength. Get my other sticker eye on here. If you get a bubble, bubbles are bad. So you want to make sure that you have a nice, smooth layer over top your eye, because you don't want a bubble. Bubbles are bad. And like I said before, you know you're getting a good cure if you see smoke coming off of it. All right, now you're gonna slick the head and the beard back. If your beard is too thick, then just trim out the part that's in the way. It's all right, the fish aren't going to give a crap. And it's not going to really interfere with the hydrodynamics of the fly, so it's not. You don't want this to be clumpy. Put it on a little bit at a time so that it soaks into the fibers. Make sure you get a little on the thread nose. so it'll seal up too. That was an old pair of scissors. I use those for lots of different stuff, cutting wire and trimming out something that I don't want to put my good scissors in. Like, I don't want to get UV resin all over my good scissors. That's the difference between $30 for a pair of scissors and $5 for a pair of scissors that I bought 30 years ago. Okay. And there you have it. The Cousin It. Let's see if I can give you a better profile. There we go. So, excuse me. If this tutorial is helpful for you, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This and other cool fish catching bugs are available on the Custom Tide Virtual Fly Shop website at www.custom-tide.com. That's CUSTOM-TIED.com. Have a splash, don't forget the dash. You can also find the Custom Tide Virtual Fly Shop on Facebook by searching Custom Tire 02. That's CUSTOMTYER 02. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope this fly was fun for you to tie. So, happy tying.